Hello, friend. In this episode, I'm going to discuss waiting for a sign from God. The idea of it, recognizing it. There's a joke, and I'll try and do it justice, where a man is praying to God to win the lottery. And every week he prays to God to win the lottery, and every week he fails to win the lottery. And finally he's so fed up and he says, God, let me win the lottery. And God says, buy a ticket. Now, I understand. That was maybe the best delivery I could have done, but get the message. We have to participate. We have to participate in these creations and in these miracles, right? So, my friend who, from my perspective, was really sitting in some low vibration states and was really committed to it, thoroughly committed to it, even though I was offering him the perspective to renew his mind. And this is a lesson for all of us. Because even for those that are receiving guidance from me, unless we're willing to do the work and make the necessary steps, we won't transform our experience. It's impossible. Because if we're not willing to do the work, what we're actually doing is we're affirming and continuing to create this experience of suffering. So we have to step into our power and apply these things. But I was offering these ideas of mind renewing to my friend who was suffering. And I was doing it thoroughly on my end. But he was so thoroughly committed to resisting it and so thoroughly committing to suffering. And he said, I'm just waiting for a sign from God. Or I'm looking for a sign from God. And I had to tell him, your friend is renewing your mind, offering to renew your mind. This is the sign from God. This is the road back to God. This is the road to awareness. This is the road out of suffering. So the carnal can't recognize it, even when it's right in front of us, talking to us. Right when it is the person talking to us. That sign from God is the person talking to us. It can't recognize it. That's how enmity to God the carnal mind is. That is how out of touch, disconnected, and just outright dislocated from God the carnal mind is. Even when truth is the only thing being told to you in that moment, you still miss it. Because you're so thickly committed to the lie, to the illusion, to the misperception. Who's doing that to us? Is God condemning us? Is Satan doing something to us in that moment? No. We're doing it to ourselves. This is what it's meant. This is exactly what's meant when they say we do it to ourselves. God isn't punishing us. Satan isn't coming into our work environment and waving a wand and all of a sudden we're suffering. We're choosing to suffer by aligning with this perception of the carnal mind, the ego. Examine your experience. Did God show up and punish you? Did Satan show up and punish you? It's all in the mind. And guess what? We get to choose what we do with our mind. If we don't like what the mind's giving to us, choose something different. Because when you're discussing these ideas with somebody who understands the mind, you're not proving creation wrong. You're proving how thoroughly committed you are to suffering. You're proving how much you don't want to do the work and be accountable. That's what you're proving. And understand when we're stuck in it pretty thick and we've got a whole lot of momentum going on because we haven't applied the brake and haven't applied mindfulness in some time, that it can be difficult to get out in that moment. Not impossible, but just we've created a lot of momentum. But we have to start somewhere. The only other option is to continue to suffer. Eventually, we have to do something about it. We have to do something about it. Not God, not Satan, not our government. If the suffering is in your mind, it is your responsibility to do something with it. And on this channel, that's what we discuss, is how to do something about it. All of this information is free. All of these videos are free. Take advantage of them. If you need refinement, then book a session. Let's get into some personal work. Help really massage that understanding into your awareness. But you have to have the willingness. You have to have the openness. Without the openness and willingness, there's no way to transform what's requiring that transformation. Because you're the one doing it to yourself. If you're not willing to do something different, the change can't come. Okay? So again, examine your experience. Contemplate, is this you? As you examine it, recognize it. Recognize that you're the one thinking these things, not your friend, not your boss, not your anybody. They might be thinking those too, but you have a choice in what thoughts you're thinking. If those are the thoughts you're thinking, then change them. Negate and replace, Spirit says. Negate the negative thoughts and replace them with thoughts of empowerment, thoughts of betterment. Influence your experience, influence your creation, influence your manifestation. You do that. Even the bad things that are happening to you are also your manifestations. You don't turn manifestation off. You don't turn creation off. Just like you don't turn thinking off. Maybe you do when you're meditating and you notice in that moment you become the unmanifest. The unmanifest, the still state, right? Where we go to rest from all the carnal. All right, friends, so something to consider. You benefit from these ideas as you apply them. They're not meant to be held as belief systems. Just apply them and use them and see the fruits. See the fruits. Okay? Blessings. We'll talk soon.